Can you guys hear me? Hello, welcome to the stream. Hi, everybody. Let me know if music's too loud. I already know people are gonna complain about my microphone sound, so I'm gonna go ahead and improve that real fast. Hi, Seza. Artanj Hui, how are you? English, yes, today we're doing an English stream. Hi, Ahmed, how are you? Yes, today is all in English, and I'm very excited to get started. Because we're starting a brand new project from scratch today, which is something I haven't done on this channel in a while. I think that even on my personal channel have I started just a brand new project, just a speed sculpt. And that's kind of what I used to do a lot when I started streaming, and it was really fun. So I'm excited to take that chance again. Diana, hola. Ahmed, I'm good. How are you? I hope everybody's staying safe out there during 2020, you know? There's so many things going on. So, can you guys guess what we're gonna work on today? It's adorable. It's possibly one of the cutest animals I have seen this year. And that's saying a lot because I love animals and I'm always on Pinterest. Are you guys ready for the reveal? You lost sound? Hi, Damlinko, by the way. How are you? And it looks here like there's sound, but I wouldn't be able to know if the stream has sound. Making of the cube. Hi, David Martin. Welcome to the stream. So today we're gonna make the world's most adorable frog, in my opinion, from scratch, and hopefully we finish. Because it's not an overly complicated animal, you know. It has these big eyes. Adorable. 10 out of 10. We might need to research for more reference before I can finish it all. But I think for now this is enough to get started on. I'm really excited to do this. I'm glad the sound is back. So I'm gonna get started, and if you guys have any questions about anything I'm doing, please ask. Okay, this is a good time to like ask about my workflow, or if you have questions about ZBrush in general, as long as it somewhat pertains to what we're talking about here. And then I'll also introduce myself. So I'm starting out with just a plain old sphere. I'm gonna click Make Polymesh 3D, and we're gonna get started with. Today I'm in the mood for snake hook for blocking in shapes, and honestly, 99% of the time I'm in the mood for snake hook to block out my things. So. César, Argentina. I've been there once. That's nice. Twice. If it was faster, we might get to see some polypaint or spotlight texturing. Yeah, polypaint for almost sure. So I'm gonna start with a sphere and just kind of creating the shape of the head as much as I can. Kind of keep it loose at first, just kind of like almost creating the space for things to be added to, if that makes sense. Let me take a pinch real fast and create kind of like that straighter line of the mouth area. This is just gonna help me orient myself about what I'm even looking at, you know. Back the snake hook on here. I should probably have found some sideways pictures of these frogs. Do I have any? Close enough. So my name is Anna Carolina, or Anna Carolina if you want to be fancy with your English. And I am from Brazil originally, from Rio de Janeiro. And I am a technical artist by trade. I do a lot of work creating workflows, creating tools, designing pipelines, in Unreal, things like that. But I'm also a character artist as freelance and on the side. Been doing this for possibly like 6 years. Been streaming with Pixologic for 2 years. It's been fantastic so far. And I'm just gonna start blocking out where the rest of the body would go. This is possibly the best work I've ever done. Kind of like blocking in with the snake hook. The snake hook gives you a lot of flexibility in your mesh. Kind of blocking in with the snake hook where the big bulging eyes would go. That frog is adorable, isn't it, DJ Brazzy? I'm glad you think so. I think so, personally. So, whenever I'm starting out with the blockouts, I'm kind of just focusing on almost like adding the parts that are needed more than anything first. And that will give me the ability to sculpt in more of the proportions later. So like, for example, I have a little snout here, I have the contour of the mouth, contour of the eyes. So for example, now I can come in here and start adjusting so that the snout fits better with the reference. How come you pronounce the R name proper, but I'm the hui? By the way, I'm keeping the hui. I think it's cute. I thought it's a Portuguese thing. R, if the R is the first letter of the word, it sounds like a h, not a r. So that's just my Portuguese coming out. There are many, like Portuguese is a language full of rules, so like the R sounds different depending on where on the word it is. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But in my name Carolina, the R is between two vowels, and therefore it gets ruled. Ashley, long time no see, I miss you. Add me as a friend on Facebook, bro. Unless you already have and I ignored it, because that is also an option that might have happened. That's the good stuff right there. Hi Anna, I struggle with ZModeler ZBrush. What should I do to practice hard surface? I don't have any idea. Is it 100% I must learn to work in the industry and 3D printing projects? So first part of your question was, what can I do to learn it better? So there's only one way to learn, and it's through practice and studying. So I would follow a tutorial first. Just do what the tutorial does. Go on Z Classroom would be a good one, or like Michael Pavlovich's channel or something. Steven Anderson has a tutorial on Gumroad that he makes some really good hard surface stuff, and he's a good explainer. And do the tutorial and just follow step by step on the ZModeler, and just keep practicing, and then eventually start walking on your own 2 feet and making things for yourself. So make a mug one day, or make some small projects in ZModeler. I personally don't know how to use ZModeler properly. I know a little bit. I use it to like fix up polygroups and stuff like that, but by the way guys, I'm gonna turn down the smoothing intensity because that is way too strong. Still too strong. I personally don't use ZModeler, but I always wanted to try it, so I just haven't gotten around to learn it. Because it is a little bit like it has its own set of rules and muscle memories to know. So it makes sense that it would be kind of an undertaking to learn it. And then your other question was, is it a must to learn it to work in the industry or 3D printing projects? I'm sure a lot of people don't know ZModeler and work in the industry. I imagine that what's important to know is the concepts behind modeling and not one specific tool. So you see how horrible this back part looks here. We're gonna fix that. Today I'm going to use... I'm torn between Dynamesh or Sculptris Pro. I'm gonna let chat choose. What do you guys want me to use, Dynamesh or Sculptris Pro? I have a feeling Dynamesh is gonna win because I don't think I've ever asked that question and Sculptris Pro has won. But yes, please let me know in chat which one you want me to use today. André, tem nome colombiano de casualidade? É por aqui? Brasileira. I'm from Brazil. Ashley misses me too. GZ Basic Sculptris. I use Dynamesh most of the time, so I want to see Sculptris. Hui, Pro. Pepper Penguin. Sculptris Pro. I don't know how to make it work. Well, I am completely surprised. I just said that I thought nobody has ever voted for Sculptris Pro, and here I have a unanimous Sculptris Pro vote. So let's go into it. So you guys mentioned that you don't know how to make it work. Well, one of you mentioned that you don't know how to make it work, so I will break it down for you. ZBrush has this awesome new feature since I think last year or the year before. Sculptris Pro. It's this little S shape in your UI if you're using the default UI. So you can either click that button or you can press this like backward slash on your keyboard. I would imagine. I never know which one's the forward slash and backward slash. I should probably learn it though. Got this far without knowing it though. So, if it's turned on here, then it changes color, and you'll see that your brush changes to purple. That's how you know it's activated. So, so that you don't make any mistakes and you accidentally use it. If it's purple, it's Sculptris. If it's red, it's normal. So Sculptris Pro by default, just the default settings are it will recalculate the how do I put this? It's gonna recalculate the topology of your tool, of your mesh, in real time, just in the area that you're sculpting on. And what that gives you is the ability to do stuff like this. So you see how low poly this eyeball is, this eyeball area is. If I take Sculptris Pro and I make the brush smaller, by the way, one thing that's important to note is that by default, the amount of polygons that are going to get added or subtracted from your mesh is based on brush size. So the smaller brush adds more polygons that are smaller. So I see this low poly mesh, I can go in. Of course, I have snake hook selected, so that's not going to do anything. Let's say clay brush, clay buildup, and go in. For some reason it wasn't working before, but I can go in and kind of add topology. It looks horrible, but sometimes that's how it is. And you'll see how low it is? You're just kind of adding topology as you wish. And this kind of allows you to make your mesh more flexible when it comes to, so that you don't have to worry about topology at all, basically. So the way I use it is, I think the way it was intended to be used was that you would like sculpt as you went, and you would just add the topology as you needed it. So there's a smiley face, I guess. The way I use it is not like that. The way I use it is I make the brush the size of the approximated geometry I want, and then I smooth it. That's how I like to use it, and I just kind of smooth it, and then I get this like updated mesh right here. So let me do that again. And if it's not obvious, this mesh right here is unusable. You can't really sculpt on this. Look at those like horrible, non-planar, stretched out polygons right there. So I'm going to, in real time, just go ahead and smooth it a little bit. It's kind of cool. I like it personally. So another thing you need to keep in mind about Sculptris Pro is that it triangulates the mesh, if that's not obvious from this look. Some people hate that. I think it's perfectly fine for the blocking phases. So I wouldn't use Sculptris Pro forever until I finished my sculpt normally. I would use it in the blocking phases, and I would use it, let's see, I would use it in the blocking phases, and then I would ZBrush it so that I could have a better workflow later, if that makes sense. Another cool thing with Sculptris Pro, like, it gives you just so much flexibility. Like, let me show you this without Sculptris. So I have Snake Hook on right now. If I pull the little arms out or something, look at how awful this topology is. This is like literally unusable. If I were to like try to curve it, let's say I wanted to curve it, then this is what it would look like. Unusable. But if I were to do the same exact thing with Sculptris on, you'll see that the topology updates as you go. And now if I wanted to curve it, then I can just curve it. So this makes it, the process of blocking out the primary forms of anything really easy. Really easy, because then you don't have to worry about topology anymore. Of course, you'll get this look. There's like a Sculptris Pro look, you know, of triangles, but they don't bother me. And later, I'm just gonna remesh anyway, and then go up subdivisions, and it's gonna look fine. You can tell yes. Hello from the UK. Okay, this question might have a long answer. What got you into the industry, and how many hours would you put into your projects? What got me into the industry? What got me into the industry is the simple fact that I was basically always an artist, always very interested in the arts, just in general. I was always drawing as a kid, always, like literally, like it was the main thing I did with my life. And as I got older, I realized that concept art was an option. And not just that, but if I played everything right, I could possibly do concept art for games, which at the time was what all of my favorite artists on DeviantArt, DeviantArt. I always call it DeviantArt. All my favorite artists on DeviantArt were doing concept art for games, and I was like, I had never thought of that ever. So I decided I had the opportunity to apply to college in the United States, and I did it, and I signed up for game art and design, thinking that I would be a concept artist for games. But throughout that degree, I was introduced to 3D art for games, which I hated so much. I hated it so much. Like you will catch me, like, I will run out of a room before I touch 3ds Max, probably. It's probably an exaggeration, but yeah. But about halfway through my degree, or a little bit after, I got introduced to ZBrush for the first time, and it was magical. It was like drawing, but in 3D. Amazing, 10 out of 10. Literally, it was the software and what it enabled me to do that caused me to switch from trying to be a 2D concept artist to being a 3D artist. And then from there, everything kind of just went on. I trained to be a character artist while I was in college, but then I was up there on a student visa, and when you are on a student visa, you understand that situation is a little bit more dire for you. I wanted to I needed to get a job right away, right after college. So I decided that the right move for me was, instead of focusing on being character artist right away, I would have to be a technical artist. So I started training for technical arts, and I immediately got a job in technical arts. And there's that Sculptris Pro coming in handy. And then I've just been practicing character art on the side ever since. But I think I made the right decision, by the way. Like, I don't regret being a technical artist at all. I always thought that technical art was just enough to keep me going until I can get a character art job. But about a year in, I decided that, like, actually, no, I love this as well. You see how I put the arm in the complete wrong spot? We'll fix that. How many hours would you put in your projects? It depends on the project. I always put a lot of hours in my projects, though. I tend to be either slow or or I'll stream them, so I'm automatically slower because I'm talking and reading comments and all that. Or I'll just redo things. It depends on the project. Like my most popular project, I did it in a weekend. My least popular project that I worked really hard on, I did in a year. You know, like it really depends. I'm Brazilian too, starting ZBrush. Hey, Shulin. Hi, Dr. Freeze. Hi, I said hi, Gintunias. You have Dynamesh turned on? No, I'm using Sculptris Pro today. Oh, John Slash, that's nice. Hi, Saeed. I'm doing good. Awesome info, no problem. Okay, Snow. How did you merge PureRef with ZBrush? I tried, but it didn't work. So you don't fuse PureRef with ZBrush. PureRef is a standalone software that floats on top of any window you have open. So once you download PureRef, you just right-click on its mode, always on top. That's all you need to do, and it'll be always on top of everything. ZBrush, the browser, YouTube, it's gonna be there on top of everything. Like, it's gonna get annoying, but that's how you do that. You don't integrate the two. Is that snake hook brush that you used just now? Yes, yes, yes. Danielle, thank you for going over this Sculptris Pro. I had the unusable mesh problem and could not find a way around it. No problem, Danielle. I mean, of course, Dynamesh would also fix that problem, but it has different. It's not as I personally consider it to not be as flexible, and you always get that issue with like Dynamesh, maybe like fusing things together that you don't necessarily want to get fused. So yeah. This frog is, by the way, is like all wrong. Look at the difference. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay that mine looks like what's his face from the green frog from TV shows that sips the tea in the GIF. It's okay. Hermit, yeah. We'll fix that. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, usually my first priority is to actually get all the parts in, and then I can work on proportions a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and Sculptris Pro, little hands. Hello. That is so derpy. I can't tell how the hands look, so we're just gonna go with this for now. It's perfect. Right there, that's the good stuff. Well, legs. I have no idea what the legs are supposed to look like. I'm gonna have to make them kind of like spread out first, and then later we'll pose them inwards. And one thing that's gonna really make a difference here is polygroups. I can already tell. So whenever you have things that are like kind of touching, unless you want to fuse them together forever, a good idea is to use polygroups. That will allow you to keep them separate and select them easier. I'll make a demonstration of that in a little bit. So I'm just gonna push the back in because I like this frog. Like he has a tiny, like it's the posing, but he has like a tiny little back. It's like lower. He has a big face too. It's so creepy. The thing I've created is creepy. I must say. If you guys are new to my stream, you'll know that I tend to be a little bit harsh on myself at the very beginnings. When I'm like, oh hello, this is a blob. Go ahead and flatten the head. Whoa, too much, too much. Go ahead and bring in the parts, like the lower jaw before the, I don't know what to call it in English. Double chin. It's okay that it's a little lumpy right now. Usually I try to avoid that at all costs, but today I don't feel like that, I guess. It looks like an alien from like a movie in the 70s. Kamehameha Master, such a cute frog. I always tell myself I will make cute character and always end up making some completely evil character. John Slash, is a college degree really important to get a job as a character artist or 3D generalist? That is a very hot topic right now on Twitter and the interwebs generally. I couldn't tell you specifically, like, its importance to a degree. Like, you see what I did there? Accidental pun. I'm just cutting in the shape where I'm gonna put in the eyeball. And that's gonna help bring out the frogginess in this thing. I should have a cook show like for ZBrush, and I'm gonna be like, these eyeball slits really bring out the frogginess in the dish. I'm sorry. Is a degree necessary to get a job in as a 3D artist? Yes and no. It depends on you. It depends on whether you need it. I actually made an entire I made an entire Twitter post about this in case you want to go read it. Kind of tired about that discussion, but basically, when is a degree necessary if you're an artist? When you want to get a job in a college, for example, as a professor, you always need a degree, sometimes a master's. If you want to get a visa anywhere, a work visa, you're probably gonna need a degree. Unless you are so talented and expensive that you can get a special, what is that, like the special talent visa. Some people get that, but it's not for everybody. I'm gonna tell you now, like that's the kind of visa that Jackie Chan would be eligible for, you know? So there's like a special talent visa. So if you want to get a visa, you're probably gonna need a degree. If you're not self-motivated enough to actually like push yourself in your own education, and that's totally fine if you aren't. So a lot of us need external, what would you call it? External accountability to be able to accomplish our own education, and that's fine if that's you. But you know, I know for me that college really helped because I don't have that. I have a lot of drive, but I don't think I have enough discipline to have taught myself an entire degree's worth of content. So what I did was I just cut out the eye hole and then I pressed B and I so that I could find the insert primitive mesh brushes right here. So I choose IMM primitives, and then I chose this like lowish sphere 32. It's like lowish polysphere, which I don't know why I chose such a low polysphere because I'm gonna divide it up. So now both are separate masks. if you were to look at it, they're separate polygroups too. I'm gonna go ahead and go split unmasked points, and now the eyes are a separate subtool, and I'm gonna divide them up a little bit. It has a pinch right there, which I hate, but that's okay. That's okay. Later we're gonna color it and we're gonna rotate it and it'll all be fine. Back to the sculpt. So I personally used to always leave out the some important details that make the piece. So one time I spent like a week making a crocodile. Okay, and it was like a saltwater crocodile, like literally one of the most badass animals on the planet. Famous for eating sharks and stuff. Okay, anyway, I'm overselling the saltwater crocodile. I would like to see one in real life, but okay, anyway. And I spent the entire week just slaving over this crocodile and every inch, just trying to get the anatomy perfect. And at the end of the week, I'm like, this doesn't look like a crocodile, it looks like an angry lizard. What am I doing wrong? Turns out I had just not put teeth in yet. And honestly, like, what is the most iconic part of a crocodile? In my opinion, it's the sharp teeth that you can always see. And I just didn't have teeth on mine. And that's the way I learned this really hard lesson, that like some things are iconic and some things kind of like make the animal. You can't do an elephant without a trunk. You can't do a cute frog with big eyes without eyes. So I just add that stuff now at the beginning. It's iconic. It helps ground the piece. It helps give you kind of like a frame of reference to work around. I'm sure I'm ranting about this problem, and I'm probably the only person who has that problem, because like who else would forget to put teeth in the crocodile, right? Not me. Ana, is this frog a girl or a boy? I honestly didn't stop to ask. Pensei que ela era em português, não em inglês hoje. If you want to get a visa, become the Jackie Chan of ZBrush. Adrian, hi, I'm good. How are you? But yeah. So another thing about degrees too that I haven't been talking about a lot is just like the incredible networking possibilities in college. I got all of my jobs so far. All of my jobs, okay? All the jobs I've ever had in the industry, and probably will have for the next years, are people who knew me from college days, I swear to God. Like, yeah, people on the internet have reached out to me a bunch of times offering me jobs, but all the jobs that I've been interested in or that have been like good paying were from people that knew me in college. And I've been out of college for like 4 years now. So, I guess that is a benefit. Big benefits. Even the job I just got, like I just got a new job. I'm about to start. Even that one, it was because somebody that knew me from my college days reached out to me and asked me to apply. They were like, hey, do you want to apply at this job? And I was like, fuck yeah. And yeah, and then the same thing happened with the job I've had for 3.5 years. And the same thing happened with all my internships and all of that. Like, I can't take that lightly. And it's all based on, and of course this isn't a guarantee with college, but it's based on how well you brand yourself, network, how well you create a reputation for yourself in college. So I had an okay reputation in college. Like, a lot of people hated me, but also like a lot of the teachers liked me. They liked my work ethic. And all of my jobs came from the teachers specifically, not the students so far. That's just my experience. That's just my experience, but like, it's very valuable. You know, that I have never had to do a job search so far. Every job I've gotten was just somebody reaching out to me and like inviting me over, basically. And that all came from that really hard work and reputation I tried to build in college. Which kind of segues us into the conversation that I wanted to have today, which is other ways to get noticed besides simply having hard work or like good work, because that's obvious. That's obviously very valuable, right? But is it everything you need? Sometimes not. I know people in the industry that have amazing work that won't get jobs because they're known to be, I don't know, a menace or something like that. What year are you at university? You think I'm that baby? No, just kidding. There's no age to university, but I graduated 4 years ago. And so I guess year -4? Or maybe like year 8? Did I graduate 4 years ago? I think so. And if you want to see saltwater crocodile, you might get a chance soon. They're in the Keys in South Florida. No way. There's no way there's saltwater crocodiles in Florida, right? They're enormous ones. It's more common than you think. When I tried to do celebrity sculpt, I struggled because I did not put eyes in for a while. Oh my god, yeah, that is a mistake. College is everything. Networking is key. Networking is key. Like, networking is so important. Like, it's ridiculously important. You guys like how I noticed the legs were complicated and I just refused to do them for now? Okay, so we are going to smooth this area under the eye out a little bit. Just a little bit for now, and then we're gonna work on the legs, okay? I'm definitely not procrastinating the legs. Zabiaga, hi! It's nice to see you here too. Friend from Instagram. You like my tattoo? Thank you, Cody. Did you design your tattoo? Not really. I told my tattoo artist what I wanted, and then I don't know. I'm gonna get it expanded at some point. Okay, as you noticed, I've been using a lot of snake hook smooth, and so far, like, I haven't even started working on refining any volumes with clay buildup or anything. I'm kind of just still creating the, almost like the I wouldn't even call it like primary forms, you know, like almost like the armature, of my model. So we're gonna look at the legs now. I'm going to have to Google more frog legs because these pictures are not good enough. Frog leg. I don't want to see like cooked frog legs though. I have a feeling that that's yep, that's it right there. Big-eyed frog. I'm trying to just find a good reference for these leggies. Yeah, oh, it's a good one because it's like spread out. We have that anime stance on this frog. I'll go ahead and open that one. This one's like a little bit more clear because it's in a seated position, I guess, but you can still see, as opposed to this, which is hella blurry. I'm gonna open that one. Yeah, why not? I just need like a good shot of the little feet. I totally forgot what species of frog I'm actually working with here. The cool thing about PureRef is that you can just drag and drop things directly from the internet and then freeze it on accident. And then just organize. That might be enough to get us started on the frog legs. Já, tudo bem? 3D weekend watching this Waldori Topo frog looks so cute. It is a very cute frog, right? When I saw this picture on Pinterest, I was like, I have to make that. Hi, Giuseppe. I had PureRef, doesn't work anymore and it's so unstable, I had to switch to RefView. Really? I have no problems with mine at all. Can you show us how to piece PureRef on top of ZBrush viewport? I don't use it at the moment. Oh, I showed it earlier. It's really easy. So PureRef is a standalone software. It has nothing to do with ZBrush, but it's just very useful to use. So you download PureRef, you open it up. It's gonna look something like this. You're gonna right click on it and go to mode, always on top. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna put PureRef on top of everything, not just ZBrush. Like, example, this is the chat that I'm reading right now. PureRef is on top of the chat. Doesn't mean that PureRef is integrated with the chat, it's just on top. By the way, guys, I'm gonna post my links up in chat so that you guys can follow me on social media and stuff. Hopefully the bot can spread it out. So I just posted my Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and ArtStation in chats. All my usernames are Anna Carolina Arts, like it is in the screen right there. And I do streams on my own personal channel in ZBrush every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow. Make sure to follow me. Those streams are really fun, kind of like laid back ZBrush streams. We talk about a lot of the same things we talk here, like career stuff, advice. I critique portfolios live and all that good stuff, so make sure to follow. One thing we can do for the legs is we can do them the same way we did the arms with snake hook and Sculptris, whoops. Or we can do it with what is it called? ZSpheres. We can do it with ZSpheres as well, and then we can Dynamesh it together. I'm gonna let you, again, today is an interactive stream. I'm gonna let you guys choose. Back legs, do you want snake hook with Sculptris, or do you want ZSpheres with Dynamesh? Talk, tick, talk, tick, talk, tick, talk. Saeed, if you have a question about games, just go ahead and ask it if you want. Snarro, how to network in a good way? I mean, how to network with people from the industry without giving the impression that you get in touch with them to network. I was told that people definitely feel that, and don't really want to engage in conversation with you. Snarro, that is a fantastic question. Fantastic question, because I've done a lot of growth on this in the past few years. So when I was in college, I was told to network with professionals, but I was told that networking looked like going up to somebody or on email, social media, real life, GDC, doesn't matter. Going up to them, shaking their hand firmly, and introducing yourself, and being like, hey, my name is so-and-so, I want to be a character artist in the game industry, here's my portfolio, can you take a look at it for me? And then like asking them for something. So you're asking them for a portfolio review, you're asking them for an in, you're asking them for attention, whatever you're asking. One thing I've really learned, so wait, I need to take into consideration what I asked. So ZSpheres has 1, Dynamesh 1, 2, SnakeBrush, ZSpheres, Dynamesh, ZSpheres, Snake Hook, ZSpheres. So it was, ZSpheres got 5 votes, Dynamesh got 4 votes. So I guess we're gonna do ZSpheres, which makes sense because it's a different process than we did for the arms. So if you're here to learn, then you get to see both. Anyway, so that's how I learned how to network. That is not the way I network anymore. So in social interactions, you can be a giver or you can be a taker, or you can have a perfectly balance between the two. What would a taker do? A taker would do exactly that. They would introduce themselves and just ask for things, ask for your time, ask for your energy, ask for you to look at their project. That is a very common thing. I get that all the time, and I am almost like a public servant in this way, where like I put myself in this situation because I want to help you guys specifically. So I'm not judging if you guys come up to me asking for things. But a lot of people in the industry, they're just trying to get their job done. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and append a ZSphere. Click on it. It's right there in the middle of the head. Let's go ahead and move it this way. So before I finish with my networking tips, I'm gonna tell you guys real fast how to work the ZSphere. So you start with a single sphere. You can press W to move it, E to scale it. Okay, I wouldn't rotate it. And Q to draw new ZSpheres. And then you can just do that. You can draw a new one with Q. And then you can use W to move it and stuff. And you can kind of use that as a base for your model. I'll show you guys how to take it to the next step when I get there. So you're just taking. When you're just, when you are very apparent and you're just taking, that's usually when people get a negative feel about you. Not everybody, of course. But the thing is that you can be so much more. You can make actual friends and connections if you're a giver instead. So instead of being like, hey, my name's so-and-so and I want to have a job at your company, you can be like, hey, my name's so-and-so and I love your work. Like, give something. It could be feedback. It could be a compliment. It could just be friendship. Like, just be friends with the person, for God's sakes, you know? And you'll find that as you develop these friendships where you don't ever ask for anything, you first of all, you'll start to like really enrich your life by just having those friends. Don't ask for anything, and you'll find that when you actually need something and you have people in your corner that don't think of you as a user, you're not even gonna have to ask them for something. They will offer. And that's how you build actual connections. Networking can be a kind of like a dirty word, you know, because it implies that you are using somebody for their connections, for the jobs they can get you, and nobody wants to be used like that, unless the person's kind of scummy and they want something bad out of you. Nobody wants to be used like that. They are people too. They want genuine connection. So try to think of it that way, like be a giver, not a taker when you're networking. And another thing is to don't idolize the people too much, or if you do, keep it to yourself. So don't freak out. Don't act like they're greater than human, you know, or better than you. Like, they're just people who happen to have come across a certain success that you desire, probably. So just, you know, be chill. Ah, Jamal, that is so flattering to me. I used to be intimidated by ZSpheres, but they're so much fun. ZSpheres have their merits. Tem muita gente no Brasil que não fala inglês e precisa de dicas importantes do Pixologic e ZBrush. Por que não falar em português? Porque... Como assim, por que não falar em português? Eu faço streams 2 vezes por mês, um em inglês e um em português. Cada um tem sua vez. E sem contar que eu acho, pessoalmente, importante, se você quer adentrar essa indústria de games ou qualquer coisa assim, é importante aprender inglês. Não precisa ser fluente. Mas, por exemplo, os melhores tutoriais, os melhores cursos, tudo em inglês, sabe? É importante aprender. Well said on the introduction comments. Leave it as the third eye. Can you snap a ZSphere to the center of the world? I can imagine that you can, probably using the gizmo, but I never have. I think that when you start and you append it, it starts off in the center of the world. I admit I'm a fanboy of some of the ZBrush masters. Oh yeah, I am a huge fangirl of some of the ZBrush masters, but boy, you best believe that when they come up to me, I'm like, hey, yes, it is me, Anna, you're equal, how are you? And honestly, that kind of like earns you more respect, because if you come across as a fanboy, you're not earning their respect. I have no idea what to do with this foot, like I can't see. I managed to find the perfect reference and the foot is like cut out of it, so we're gonna go back to Google. You need to earn their respect, and one of the best ways to do that is to just, remain calm. Sounds okay. Oh, this is okay. No, I don't like that one. Imagine having hands that are this big compared to the rest of your body. Hands and feet, I guess. Really nice tips on it, thank you. No problem, guys. No. Good advice, Anna. I generally look to the friends with artists that I admire. To me, it's common to look to be friends, to be with friends that I admire. To me, it's common sense, and it's what humans do. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're really gonna find, like, once you start putting yourself in that position, they're not snobby. Like, 99% of the time, they're not snobby or anything. Like, they're totally chill. Trying to decide how I want to do these toes. If I want to do just one copy and paste, I think that's the way that I'm gonna do these. I'm just gonna, okay, so like now I've created the basic kind of shape for them. Maybe I need to make this longer. Basic shape for the ZSpheres. So I'm gonna press Q and I'm gonna start adding a few ZSpheres in between to like add a little volume. So I'm just gonna add a bit here. So the thing is that it's touching too much right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and break the whole thing in the process too. I'm gonna make the booty part a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna just kind of grow this one that connects to the foot. What is the app I'm using? PureRef. The name is right here on the screen. Let's just say he lost a foot in the Frog Wars. Dark times. Hey Anna, what do you think about the new features coming to ZBrush like class brushes and ZModeler Topology? I think those are great. Can't wait to try them. I would very much like that. So, with ZSpheres, you can press A to show adaptive skin, which is like a preview of what the geometry is going to look like. If you can see, if I can just get it there for you guys to see it, it's like pre-Dynameshed, which is definitely something I don't want. I want to keep this as low poly as possible from the beginning, so that I can like you just work better in low poly first instead of getting something that's really unmanageable. So I'm gonna go here under Tool to adapt the skin, and you actually see that when I press A, preview turns on. So you're just previewing. This is not the final topology. You can turn Dynamesh to 0, press A again, and then boom. Now we have a more workable topology, in my opinion. So I am going to go ahead and accept this. I'm going to make it Polymesh 3D and reappend it to the project, because maybe I could have applied from here. I'm not sure. I think I should have clicked something like that. Anyway, I did it the long way, which is to make it Polymesh 3D, go here to Subtool, append, and then I'm going to append the leg. And this is the one we're going to work on. And it's a proper 3D mesh. First thing I'm going to do is go to... I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to do mirror the duplicates mesh. Like going to deformation and mirror. In the mirror, you can see these tiny X, Y, Z options. That's the axis that it's going to get mirrored on. So now we have a nice squat frog here. I'm going to go back to my subtools and merge down the two, so that I can edit both at the same time and they're perfectly symmetrical. I'm gonna also delete the old leg because I don't need it anymore. Actually, I think that was the wrong choice. But you know what? Sometimes you make the wrong choice. Sometimes it'd be like that. He looks cute, comics legend. Thank you. What is the number of polygons allowed to a game character, and what effect subdivision has on the speed and quality of the game? Sides. So there is no magical number for what is allowed in a game character. I always say that optimization is a budget. So it depends on so many factors. I feel like every answer I ever answer said it depends on so many factors, but it's true. So if it's a game character and the whole environment is not expensive at all, then you can probably splurge a little bit more on the game character. If the environment is extremely unoptimized or enormous or something, then you probably can't splurge as much. I think it's all a give and take in a dance. Usually the people, the technical artists at your company might give you some of that info. It also depends on what device you're deploying to. So if you're doing like a next-gen console, it's going to be different than if you're making a character for a mobile application and stuff like that. So there's so much things that depend on that. So there's no magical number. What effect subdivision has on the speed and quality of the game? Subdivision? So I think subdivision is a concept that we use when we're modeling and sculpting, but it's not really a concept that we use in games. We use Topology, we use poly counts, all that stuff, but subdivision is not something we use in games. Like, does that make sense? Like in actual games applications, like in engine, subdivision is not a thing. Subdivision is something I use in ZBrush while I'm creating the high poly, for example. And then I retop it, and then I put the retopped version in games without subdivisions. Unless you're trying to say something else that I'm not getting, or if it's like tessellation and the GPU and all that good stuff. Bye, Quintonias! Thank you! Frogs doing stretching. Olá, Ana, parabéns pelo trabalho e aproveita para perguntar sua opinião sobre essa potencial mudança que a Unreal 5 vai fazer, trazer, permitindo mais agilidade na transição da malha 3D do ZBrush para Unreal. Eu sou uma das pessoas que tá menos animada para isso. Principalmente porque eu não sei se vai ser tão glorioso quanto eles prometem. Eu não acho que vai ser assim 100% todas as vezes você vai poder fazer isso. Eu acho que vai ser tipo de vez em quando você pode fazer isso. Algumas coisas. Eu acho que nem com personagem você vai poder fazer isso. Eu acho que vai ser só com coisas do Environment Art. E mesmo quando a gente puder fazer essas coisas, eu nem sei se vai valer a pena. Porque a memória ainda vai ser afetada, provavelmente. A gente vai descobrir. Existem muitos tools na Unreal que a gente tem que usar considerando o preço, digamos assim. E imagino que essa seja uma delas. Então, acho que vai ser uma opção, mas não uma verdade universal, que todo mundo use isso. Nice for English, Portuguese, and what more? Love your sculpts too. Thank you. I just speak the 2 languages, even though I learned German at one point. Except I did not learn it so good. Okay, so now we have Frog here with legs. This is probably one of my best works so far. I would say, definitely say Frog with legs. Got good stuff. Now we need fingers. This is a good reference here for the fingers. Do we want to use more ZSpheres for the fingers, or do we want to use a this normal, like maybe like a cylinder or something? Você é do Nordeste do Brasil? Não, Rio de Janeiro. This is indeed a frog. Very cute frog. primitive fingers. I think I'm just gonna sphere these fingers out. Gonna kind of place them in the right area. Gonna make sure to invert the mask so that only the little spheres, actually, it's fine. They're already a separate subgroup or polygroup. I'm gonna, oopsie daisy. I'm going to kind of like mask part of the sphere and just kind of drag it out. This is the best way to make fingers. Just kidding, there are 1,000 other ways that you can probably make better. But it kind of gets the job done. And I am here to get the job done. That's actually what I say as a technical artist, definitely not as a character artist. I feel like I have two parts of my brain that like just don't chat whenever I'm doing work. I'm gonna use move topological. And like, or maybe I should just use snake hook. Kind of create more of a finger shape to this. See how the topology is awful? We'll fix that. It looks like he's holding like a drumsticks or something. One of my favorite animals right now. Very cute. Isn't it adorable? Very nice animal. And he's pinch from the sides to just pinch down the length of the fingers here. And then I'm going to use inflates for the tip here. Or maybe he looks like he's holding 2 spoons and ready to eat. And smooth it out a little bit. Alright, now we have one finger, which we can just duplicate it around. I'm gonna use the top view, bottom view actually. And I'm gonna just press Control and drag, and that will automatically duplicate whatever you have selected or unmasked. I'm just kinda gonna make these side ones a little bit smaller, kinda attach them here. Maybe made it too much smaller, can't tell, it's hard to tell. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing where I am, whenever you use the option to duplicate and drag, it creates a copy, but it creates the copy with the same polygroup, so you can see like pink and pink. So I'm gonna just do press invert the mask and press Control W so that I can create a new polygroup. This will help us in the future. So I'm gonna just go ahead and grab that guy again and Control drag, rotate, rotate, rotate a little bit, make it a little bit smaller even. Give this guy some thumbs. How else is he supposed to hold things? Make it more spread out so it looks like the thumbs kind of go almost inwards a little bit. I wish I had put the pivot in the right place. Let me just do that real fast. Looks like the whole arms actually go a little bit inwards. That we'll fix that whenever we're posing. Alright, so now we have... Oh wait, I forgot to do the thing where I press Ctrl W to create a new poly group. I did it twice because the first poly group looks green just like this one, and I don't like it when that happens. I don't like poly groups that are separate, they're different, but they're similar colors and they're touching. I hate it. Ao bem pela live, aprendemos sempre. É difícil ver mulher nessa área. Nós homens somos maioria nessa área. Quanto mais mulher rodando, melhor. In your opinion, what is an effective giver? I mean, you can be a nice person forever and never be really noticed in any... And never really be noticed in the whole wave of people trying to break into the industry. At the end, you need a job to be able to eat. Besides, do you think going to convention really helps and make the difference? I think going to conventions helps for sure. Made a lot of good friends at game developer conventions specifically. I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out how many. Okay, so they have like 4 toes in the back. Oh goodness, they also have 4 fingers on the hand. I missed an entire finger. Okay, let's fix it. Everything's fine. What was I saying? So GDC, for example, is a really great convention. I met a lot of cool people there. A lot of people I can call friends. Fantastic opportunity. Wow, 4 finger. That looks weird, I must say. The back finger will get edited to look more like a thumb big finger. You see how like it's more like a thumb. Let's fix that. So what we can do is I'm gonna go ahead and just copy the whole thing over and down. Work smart, not hard, I guess. Gonna go ahead and merge down these two, the body and legs. By the way, another cool thing with ZSpheres is that it will give you pre-made polygroups that are sometimes very usable, that you can actually like use to make better polygroups. So say I want to make the shin area into a polygroup. I'll just select these, Control W, bam. Now the shin area is selectable by itself, and it's like really clean and like really nice. That's a beautiful part of ZSpheres. They're a neat way to work. I'm gonna go ahead and pinch this a little bit here. Make sure the symmetry's on every once in a while, because I have a tendency to accidentally turn it off. And now we're just we're gonna a little bit work on the shapes of the toes. See like how it has kind of like a more dynamic shape on this one. Of course, we're still working on the blockout of this piece. This one needs to just get completely reoriented here. Closer to this guy right here. This one needs to get Let's get a little bit smaller and oh. So since I copied over the fingers from the hands, I need to go ahead and turn them into their own polygroups too, in case I want to edit them better. So now it's its own polygroup, so I can go ahead and rotate that out, give it a little bit of a curve. And then the big one, this one seems to be pointing. Whoa. Forward. Again, we will make this all look a little bit more ergonomical and organic in a little bit. Well, now we have something that looks more like a frog. It looks like it's in a like it's about to break dance, but you know it's still. I never specified. I never answered the question. So, what is an effective giver? You can be a nice person forever and never really be noticed in the whole wave of people trying to break into the industry. At the end, you need a job to be able to eat. Besides, you think going to a convention really helps and makes a difference? Yes, going to a convention really helps. But also, like, you don't have to go to a convention. Like, you don't have to wait for that. You know, you can just go online. Like, everybody's online. You know, you can just talk to people online. Make so many friends and all that good stuff. No problem at all. What would make an efficient giver? Just be nice to people, for one. Don't get into like massive arguments with them all the time. Give them encouragement. Don't forget that that there's a lot of people you want to network with, not just like the big famous people. You know, you want to network with people that are just starting, people that are in school, people that are in the same level as you or something. You don't want to be snobby with who you're friends with just because you want to get a job. I knew people like that. Like, I went to college with a guy who would basically bully or belittle everybody who wasn't like a massive pro. And whenever he would find actual pros, he would like kiss up to them nonstop. Well, the way the industry works is that, yes, those people are pros and your opinion matters, but also like everybody you've been belittling all along the way are going to become pros at some point and they're going to remember you very negatively. He was snobbish with his choices and it did not pay off because like now everybody knows him as somebody who is like that. Not fun to be around. I think we're done with the frog, just kidding. So, okay, so now we have here the base of the frog. I should probably save. I haven't saved even once today, so can you imagine if it had crashed? I'm sure autosave would have helped me out. I don't know what does work. Drop poly density in ZBrush. Drop poly density. I've never heard of that. Sorry. Feel free to Google it and tell the chat what it means, because my interest is piqued. Alright, so we're back to the main Frogger here. And we are going to start working on like kind of like primary and anatomy forms and all that good stuff. I can't wait to do the little nose here. So when I first start this phase, I switch brushes out way more often, with Snake Hook still being a big player. But I use a lot of clay buildup, a lot of Damien Standard. I think those two together are my dream team, honestly. So I'm gonna start creating a little bit of volume. I can't say that the proportions are perfect, but you know, we'll slowly tweak them as we go. I still have an hour and 40 minutes, so I think we can get a lot done. I'm gonna beak in there. And then soon we're gonna go up a subdivision or like Sculptris Pro it more. I'm gonna go ahead and just connect, create this like shoulder connection, bring it closer to the double chin. I'm just gonna call it the frog's double chin until somebody corrects me. Fill this up a little bit. It's a little bit strong for me. So intensity at 81 is a little bit much. Go ahead and just be really careful with my observation here. Like, you see, try to get that shape to be similar to the one in the photo. I almost feel like my eyeballs need to come out a little bit. I think it's gonna make them cuter and stuff. Yeah, that does make it look cuter. Cuter. Kind of like lower this double chin area. Kind of, it feels like it kind of goes a little bit into the chest right below where the arm starts. Do you guys call it this the arm or the front leg? Whenever you're dealing with quadrupeds, like how do you choose to call that? I always say arm, but I don't think that's a conscious choice, and I am willing to correct my behavior. Chest to chest here. I think this is the fun part of sculpting for me, is just the primary forms after I'm done blocking. I think some people use primary forms and blocking interchangeably. I don't know where I fall on that. To me, like I was blocking, you know, like I was actually adding all the pieces that I needed in order to get to the primary forms. Let's look at it from different angles. Start to make a little nose block out here, kind of like trying to make it a little cute already. Add a little chin. A little more volume down here. Try to make it cute. Number one priority here. We can move brush and kind of just add a little bit of volume by pressing Alt and dragging. The move brush will pull or push perpendicularly to the normal So move brush normally works like this, but if I press and hold, it will just bring it out or bring it in. Just, it's really helpful. You need to try it. It's hard for me to describe how helpful that is. Yeah, and get that big chunky face on there. Yeah, a belly. I don't know if it has a belly because I can't see, but I imagine that that's cute, so I'm gonna add it. Thank you, John. Got you. Don't you want to save your project? It might crash. It's up to artists for stream times. Some artists get 4 hours, and ZBrush jewelry guy, don't know his name, goes for 7 hours. Yeah, it's up to us. I can only do 3 hours before I die. So I was considering switching from 3 hours to 2 hours actually, doing less hours. So I'm gonna do something kind of out of order, but I do what I want. I'm gonna go ahead and make the eyeball. I'm going to fill it with black. So I basically just chose a black color here. Color, fill object. Now the eyeballs are black. You can see here, actually, I'm also gonna make it shiny. So I'm gonna use, what I always use is toy plastic, and it's always hard to find. I'm gonna use toy plastic, and I'm going to go here to, basically the color fill object works with materials as long as you have material selected in your brush. So if you have M turned on, then you can just go here to color fill object. And now I can go to the other subtool, work with the with whatever material and color I want, and the eye is going to stay the same the way we set it up. So there we have our little frog eyes. Apes have arms, frogs have legs. No opposable thumb on legs, but they kind of have opposable thumbs. I don't know. They have thumbs. I don't know. Russian, hi. Thank you. There's a big problem with the sculpt so far. He's too cute. Oh, there's adorable. How do we open reference windows? This is a separate software called PureF. The name is right here in case you want to download it. Thank you, Saeed. Is there a way whereby you pose with ZSpheres and start modeling and come back to the ZSphere, so just pose without creating new ZSpheres? Yes, there is a way. There is a way to do that. I would recommend look up rigging with ZSpheres in ZBrush. It's totally a thing, and it's totally cool. I've done it before. They have documentation on it, and they have a step-by-step that I've used before in the official documentation. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the material editor, or material here, and I'm just gonna turn ambient occlusion up a little bit, maybe the diffuse curve, so that might... That is wrong. How do I reset this? That my shadows aren't so dark, because they're not that dark in real life. Like, frogs are very subsurface scattering creatures, so having those dark shadows can throw you off a little bit when you're like comparing your work to the actual frogs themselves. One thing I'm definitely noticing is that the eyes on mine are too big, and the space between them is not big enough. I'm going to take Damien Standard here and cut in the mouth just as like a sketch. And I'm going to give it a little smile too. We got that. So I'm also going to contour it with the Damien Standard, but pressing Alt so that it's negative, and just kind of add the like the lips around it. Damien Standard is a great tool to block in primary forms too. If you use like a large size, you can block in a lot. Need some clay buildup to fix the slope here. make it more slopey. GBTX, I agree. ZBrush is a crazy powerful software. It really is. Frogs are even more subsurf scattering when they're babies. You can see everything at the stage. Oh my god, yeah, it's true. Move brush to kind of push some of these areas in here. I'm gonna use pinch really fast to kind of like tighten up the mouth area. It's a really good trick for like mouth areas if it's closed, or eyes. Like pinch will straighten things out for you, make them neater. See the difference? I don't know if you guys can see the difference. Fabiano, thank you so much. I'm glad you're in love with my work. We have a little frogger. It's starting to take shape to a degree. Let's go ahead and I think we are ready to Dynamesh and then ZRemesh. So the reason I'm going to do Dynamesh and then ZRemesh is that I want Dynamesh to stick all of these different meshes together. I want the legs to be part of it. I want the fingers to all attach, all that good stuff. So we are going to do that and hope for the best here. I'm gonna go ahead and save first. As a rule of thumb, I consider it to be a very wise choice to always save before running a big operation in any software, not just ZBrush. So like I'm about to Dynamesh, and I'm about to ZRemesh, so I might as well save beforehand just in case something goes wrong. Same thing for UV Master, same thing for what's something in Maya that always crashes Maya for me? Clicking weight painting button for some reason. So I'm gonna go in here to Dynamesh. I'm gonna leave the resolution as it is and just see what happens. And then just Dynamesh and see what happens. It's very high, but it's also okay because we're gonna ZRemesh it anyway. None of the thing. Always check whenever you're Dynamesh. Always check between fingers. Check things that are close together, check mouth gaps, eyes, always check that stuff because it could be getting welded, but it's not, so that's fine for me. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth the crap out of this. I might even use Smooth Stronger, which I can get by going to the light box and going to brush and going to smooth. And here you'll find a brush called Smooth Stronger. There. Okay. And it's basically just I literally just a stronger version of Smooth. And it's just a little bit faster for stuff like this. Or apparently it's very good for if you're doing stylized work too. I think Shane Olsen swears by this. Don't quote me on that though. It's really good for like if you have a high poly mesh and you just want to take out like lines or something. But it will destroy all your detail, so use sparingly. I make it real small and just kind of go along the lips to smooth out the wrinkly parts without ruining the lip drawing that we made earlier. But then again, it's fine if we do ruin it a little bit because we will fix it later. So I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to go to geometry, ZRemesh. First, let's consider how we want this topology to go. So we're gonna go and find ZRemesh guides, which are going to create literally guides to control the ZRemeshing. so that we can basically we can draw ahead of time where we want our loops to go. Edge loops. So for me, this is the hardest part because I cannot do straight lines in ZBrush. I'm gonna go ahead and do one around this shoulder area thing. Around this side. I'm gonna leave the fingers and just hope for the best. I'm doing around like the head/neck area here. And then we're gonna ZRemesh and hope for the best. I'm gonna make it like relatively high though. Usually I go way lower, but we'll see. Hi, Scott Puppy. Anna, the more I look at the sculpt, the more I want to hold little Nino on my hands. Very adorable. Dark Knights, your final renders I saw on Instagram, all done in ZBrush, or do you use another software for renders? Some of it's in ZBrush, some of it is Unreal, some of it's Marmoset. Smooth Stronger for high density models. Smooth Stronger is if you really want to smooth. Like if you're sure about your smoothing and you want to smooth the crap out of whatever you're working on, then Smooth Stronger is for you. His sonster? Thank you. I appreciate it. I like to turn on polyframes so that I can see kind of like the mess that's been done. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a speed sculpt. Turn those eyes back on. Adorable. Adorable. I must say, those eyes, adorable. So we have here our ZRemeshed version. We have all the different parts. So you see how this is my particular workflow for Sculptris Pro. So I use it to create all the parts and create kind of like the initial, like very basic forms, a little bit of primary forms, and then I ZRemesh it. So I don't stay on Sculptris forever. For many reasons, one of which is that I found a little bit of lagging on my computer with Sculptris Pro. So let's go ahead and divide this up. And if we want to get some of the detail from this guy right here, I mean, there's not a lot of detail that we lost. But if we wanted to get some of the detail back, we can project it. So let's do that, and I'll show you guys how. So I just have both of them turned on. I'm gonna go to, I'm going to go to a slightly higher subdivision, and I'm going to go to project all. And let's see. And what that does, it will project some of the form and details from one mesh to the other. And it works well if they are very similar. So I'm going to divide up one more time. I'm going to keep it on solo this time so you guys can see. So I'm at subdivision 3. I'm gonna click project all and watch like the mouth area or something. There you go. So we have projected the original Dynameshed frog. Well, not the Dynameshed frog, the right after Dynameshed frog. No, yeah, the Dynamesh. We projected the Dynamesh frog into the ZRemeshed frog. So if I go before and after here, Like we just projected it. Not a lot changed. But when you use ZBrush, you lose a little bit of crisp detail, a little bit of crisp form. So I always project it again. So now we are ready to actually move on with a little bit more sculpting, a little bit more like intensive sculpting, I guess. This isn't an overly complicated creature to sculpt. How am I supposed to say your name? I don't know how to say your name. I don't know. I'm gonna be a teacher soon, and I'm definitely gonna be a teacher who mispronounces people's names. I don't look forward to that. But then again, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna be able to pronounce my name, so at least there will be equal footing on that. Okay, smooth. Oh, I'm still smoothing stronger. I no longer want to smooth stronger. I just want normal smooth. A nice, comfortable smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and take an inflate and just kind of like inflate the just the eyelid right here. Try to not make it lumpy. I say to myself. Gonna go down to subdivision. So subdivision modeling or like sculpting is fantastic because it gives you so much control over what you're doing. Say I want to make details, I can make it in the higher subdivisions. Say I want to change primary or secondary forms, I can do it in lower subdivisions. Amazing. And that way you can work on them without stepping on one another. So like I can smooth out a muscle without smoothing out the wrinkles that I've already drawn on the muscle, you know? These are also low res. They are unhelpful in every way. And go ahead and take stroke and turn on lazy mouse to make a cute mouth again. God, even with lazy mouse, I am still a little bit hard pressed to make hard lines or to make straight lines. What frog species is this one, if you don't mind me asking? I wish I knew. I don't know. How did you project the two forms together? What do you mean the two forms together? Like the higher poly onto the lower poly? I just clicked subtool, project all, with both of them visible. I just thought of Anna being like the substitute teacher in Key and Peele skit. Say Aaron. Aaron. Wow, people can get higher from licking frogs. I imagine, like, I always know, like, my upbringing in Brazil, the school I went to when I was like in first and second grade, and all the way to fifth grade, it was very like environmental cautious, and we heard a lot of stories about like people that would go to the Amazon to explore and then touch a frog and then die just from touching. Lived a long, happy life. Because these frogs, a lot of them excretes toxins and poison from their skin. Not supposed to be touching frogs. If it's colorful, leave it alone. That's what I always say. In fact, if it's alive, probably leave it alone too. Dead as well. In nature, just stay home. Really, is what I'm saying. Scott, congratulations on the teaching job. You're gonna be a great teacher. I hope so. Thank you, Scott Pappy. I appreciate it. He looks happier in your sculpts. That's a big plus. Yes, I wanted to make him look a little cuter. But he still is so cute. I almost feel like it's hard to accomplish the cuteness, you know? Do they have nostrils? I don't know, I can't tell. The picture is so low resolution. Let's look. Yes. It would seem like some frogs have nostrils, if not all of them, so I'm going to add nostrils. Adorable. Turn down Damien. Whenever you're working on Damien Standard for form purposes, I like to turn down the intensity. Essie, thank you. I'm glad you think the work is clean. That's kind of one of the things I always strive for in ZBrush, is to keep it clean. You're on a tablet or Cintiq. It's easier to control your stroke with a Cintiq because you see your whole arm. I am on a tablet, and I personally have no complaints about it. I personally think I have full control without having to look at my own arm. In fact, I prefer tablets because then my arm doesn't get in the front of my work. And it's better for my posture and carpal tunnel syndrome. But yes, I am on a simple Intuos tablet. No biggie. In fact, like, I have a display with screen, like a tablet with screen. But I do not use it. And in fact, I kind of like reject display tablets. It's just how I am. I don't think they're necessary. I think they are a luxury, though. If it's colorful, just take pics. Bright colors are generally to keep predators at bay, and we should respect that. I agree, emulating what's cute about things is tough. You have carpal tunnel? I got it recently. Yeah, I do. I used to have it. I have it. It's permanent. I haven't had surgery for it, even though I almost did. And it used to be really bad in college, because in college you'll find that a lot of the times your professors will say things like, "Oh, you sleep on your desk" and shit. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I got it in college and I was in pain for ages, but nothing really compares to the psychological pain of carpal tunnel. Because as an artist, your hands are usually, like, depending on the kind of artist you are, but your hands are kind of like how you make money and how you make your art. And just having your hands at danger was like the worst psychological strain for me. But eventually, with time, with better lifestyle choices, less punishing myself with humongous amounts of works and not sleeping and you know, all that stuff, it has improved dramatically. So sometimes it still hurts, but I'll just like do a massage or something, and like usually it will stop being so bad. Usually, sometimes I still get it back like full force. And other things that like whenever I'm gaming, I get it really bad nowadays. Like it's the thing that makes it flare the most is if I play a game on the computer. Is that a Wacom tablet? Yeah, it's a Wacom tablet. And 2 O's. GBTX6. Love the stream. Hope to see more of you and your cute animal sculpts, Anna. Have a good one. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Oh, by the way, guys, that reminds me I need to post my links again. It's been a long time. So I'm going to do that so you guys can follow me and all that good stuff. I just posted my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and ArtStation in chats. My name in all of those things is Anna Carolina Arts, like right there in the overlay right here on my stream. You can follow to get updates on my art and my schedule. I stream on my own personal channel, Anna Carolina Arts, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central. And we do ZBrush, and it's kind of like a laid-back, fun ZBrush session. My voice is low again. I can fix that. Is that better? Hopefully I didn't just ruin the sound too. Let me know if that sounds like horrible. I bought a whole hand and forearm grip kit just to be proactive against it. Make sure to stretch your arms and wrists like a lot whenever you're working. Make sure to have a balanced like diet, not be on the computer for too long without getting up, without walking around and all that good stuff. Like just give your hands some breaks. I found that stretching was one of the best things. Meditating through the pain was great. CBD oil helps a lot. I don't take it anymore, mostly because I lost my $60 bottle like 6 months ago and didn't want to buy a new one. And CBD oil helps a lot, by the way. Like if you're having a bad carpal tunnel day, I recommend considering it. What else is helpful? Meditation. I used to meditate through the pain. I'm not sure it's like good advice. That's how I got through the bad days, was to like just meditate through the pain. And also, of course, give yourself breaks. You know, like if you're having a really bad carpal tunnel week, or you feel like your wrists are in pain, because like it doesn't always skip to carpal tunnel. It starts with like repetitive stress injuries and stuff like that. Sometimes make sure you take a break. Like it's more productive for your career to take a weekend or a week off than to power through thinking that you need to get more work done, and then 6 months from now you can't get any work done, literally, because your wrists barely work anymore. For me, it got really bad. I had to go to the hospital, not the hospital, the doctor. Like I had to go to every specialist in the book. I at one point got a cortisol shots directly in my wrist, into the carpal tunnel themselves, so like at an angle, like it's enormous shots that hurt so bad, and it was supposed to be like anti-inflammatory, and it barely helped at all, and I couldn't use my wrists for 2 weeks, and it was the worst. Like my boss at the time was not happy with it. So like literally take a break, be proactive with your breaks and your schedule. It's okay to take time off. It's okay for your wrists. One other thing that helped me was I used to be a little overweight in college, and by a little I mean a lot overweight in college. I used to be 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And after I lost some of that weight, carpal tunnel got better. But then again, I did a lot of changes, so that's probably not just it. But if you are overweight, then I think you can I think your odds are worse at recovery. So that's another thing. Carpal tunnel is no joke because, again, the psychological strain of having your work tools be damaged and you're not sure if you're going to have to give up on your career. That's a thing. Like, sometimes you have to give up on your career. I've seen artists do it. They have, like, carpal tunnel or some sort of fibromyalgia. I'm not sure that's the one I'm looking for. There are diseases out there that will degrade your ability to use your hands. And you have to take very good care of them. So the psychological strain of that is immense. Let's go ahead and polypaint this little frogger before we get any further. Just the single flat green should do the trick. Just kidding, it won't do the trick. We can also change the base material to make it a little bit more slimy looking. We can change the specular, like bring it up a little bit. And change the curve. And making the curve more steep so that we get that like wet look, you see. Ooh, wet frogger. Love it. Let's go ahead and save the material out so that I can use it again if I want to. Sorry, this is exactly how long it takes me in real life too to save stuff. I forget what I'm working on, where to go, all this. I just brain freeze right as when it's time to go into the file explorer every time. Every time. There's no way around this. I'm gonna name this cute frog. Right, this saved. So now we have that, so let's go ahead and try to paint. Trying to decide which one of these colors I want to make the base. I think I'm going to use this teal. I think I'm going to use teal as my base and then go for like more lime greens and like yellow greens that are faded as my accents and stuff. Let's try to match that a little bit. It's not always easy. Color fill object. Apparently it doesn't want to fill. Oh, that's because I don't have RGB turned on. But dark. I'll use this as my base color. Will every Twitch streams be on YouTube, or Twitch page has more streams? Yeah, they will be on YouTube, on the Pixologic YouTube. They all get saved. Polypainting. I had carpal tunnel in my left wrist. Started out annoying to actually painful. About 2 months ago, I bought a keyboard wrist pad, turned it sideways, looks dumb, but it lifts my elbow and wrist. It took off the pressure. After a week, I noticed it didn't hurt as much. And about 2 months ago, I realized I don't even feel it anymore. That's good. That is something I forgot to mention with the carpal tunnel thing, is that the ergonomics of your desk and tools matter. So remember what I said in the beginning that I don't use Cintiq displays because they are bad for your posture and wrists? Like all sorts of things can be bad or good for your wrists. Example, like the armrests of your chair should be at the same height as your table. There should be nothing pinching your wrists, things like that. I'm gonna try and get this like nice yellowy green color going. And there's a paintbrush called Paint, which somehow missed for years, unless it's new. I don't know if it's new. Can't tell. Just gonna use it with spray. Take off the lazy mouse here. I'm gonna start painting that little boy. we're gonna do lots of layers of colors. I just casually go along the lip here, a little bit under the eye, elbows, big one. Looks like it's raining. We are in Texas under a storm watch right now because there's a storm coming up. So yeah, that's scary. A little bit on the head here, a little bit on the back. Make sure I can let the teal shine through still though. I don't wanna have it be one note in any way. Got the knee. Get the toes easier. A little bit. Make sure there's still teal shining through. Right there. Okay, starting to feel it. So I'm gonna get an even more yellowy green. Maybe switch more saturated. Start hitting those spots where it's basically almost yellow. Back here a little bit. Some of the toes seem to be that way. Maybe like the bottom hands. For the hands area, I'm gonna turn on backface mask so that I can paint the bottom and not have the top be painted. Using my imagination to fill out some of the gaps in the pictures. Just going along the lips again. And kind of like these little round things on the fingers. Fingertips, I guess, would be a good way to call it. The tips can get a little yellow. I'm gonna get some yellow in the elbow again. Down the back of the forearm. That's right, on the tip of the nose very gently, because the tip of the nose is more whitish than just yellow. Now we're gonna get this like more mossy green color up here. It's a darker green. And I'm actually going to add an alpha for this one. Don't know what kind of alpha I want. I should have probably been using an alpha this whole time for everything, but you know, some things would be like that, I guess. I'm just kind of adding that darker green color around as necessary. I'm going to add it to the back lightly. I think the trick with Z painting or polypainting and ZBrush is that layering is key, at least in my opinion. To me, it makes all the difference. I'm gonna add these backlights. ZBrush Princess, hey Anna, you're beautiful. I love your streams. You always motivate me. Aw, thank you. Very cute frog too. Will you do your top in it and drop in a substance painter too? Probably not. So it's probably just a quick little thing to just make as a demo. I have a white tree frog. He's awesome. We need to sculpt. Oh, definitely sculpt it, Andy. You love storms. They make me feel cozy and safe. What brush are you using to paint? It's called the paintbrush. In the future, whenever you have any doubts, just look here. It will tell you exactly what brush I am using, the type of stroke, and the alpha, and the color, and all that stuff too. Not that you shouldn't ask, I'm just saying for the future. Like if you're watching a different stream or something, like that's how you tell. Can I add more like a limey green to the lighting here? Back. Like I want to use the lime green sparingly. Knee area. Foot for sure. Let's take this color right here from the snout area. I'm gonna make it more less saturated and brighter. Go back in. More brighter. Get that look of like this coloration around here. Mine is missing a little bit of derpiness. I'm gonna try to infuse it with more derpiness in a little bit. Fantastic Fruity. Thank you. I'm glad you think I'm talented. How awesome. I wonder how awesome would it be to 3D print this frog? Probably kind of fun. Do you have some settings activated while painting? Settings? No, not really. I'm trying to think of if I do have any settings activated. What would they be? I'm gonna go in with more like a darker bluer teal. Balance out. There's too much green, just pure green here, so I'm gonna just teal around. Sprinkle some teal in. Make it into like I hate having one-tone colors. I like adding some sort of like neighboring colors to the mix, even if they're not there in real life. Complementary colors, I guess. No, that's not neighboring. Some more blue right there, maybe like a little bit more white to the belly. And last but not least, a little bit more of a mossy, like almost like lime green. A little bit needs to be added back around, but in small touches. Go ahead and save and go back to sculpting. Oops, make sure that you don't have RGB turned on accident anywhere and ruin the polypaint. And same thing for smoothing. So smoothing brushes on by default have RGB smoothing, and you don't really, unless it's your goal, you don't want to accidentally smooth your polypaint while you're smoothing your model. So you go to hold down space, hold down shift, which will let you select smoothing options, and then turn off RGB. And that will let you smooth without smoothing the polypaint. Fun! I'm gonna take some Dynamesh standard and like kind of improve this crease right here. One thing I want to do before I get too far into like froggy anatomy, I say as I get into froggy anatomy, is I want to polygroup the legs and the arms, or I guess all 4 legs, and pose it properly. So we're going to do that now, and I think it's going to be nice for you guys to see it. So I'm going to use the Select Lasso tool. I'm going to start with the back legs. So I'm going to hide the rest of the body, I think. And I'm going to go in here and try to get the joints. Get it as neat as possible. Not too much interference. Oh, another thing, turn off perspective when you're doing this sort of thing, because perspective will cause you to have unexpected artifacts with your masking. Not because of any bugs or anything, but because I'm gonna have to just give an example. No, because like whenever you're masking, you'll do like a perfect front projection in ZBrush, but perspective has it so that the leg closest to you looks bigger than the one farthest away from you. So you're gonna end up with two masks on each of the legs. One's gonna be different size than the other, just based on perspective. So you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and invert the selection. The part that I want to polygroup will be masked, and I'll press Ctrl W. And there, now we have it in a different polygroup. Same thing for the other joints right here. I'm not too worried about getting this perfect. Like, you see there's not even a poly loop here. That's just the Z remeshing that I didn't do too carefully. Control W again being the what you want. And go ahead and just for completion's sake, do the same thing to the toes. Making it nice and festive. So now let's focus on the little arms. Go ahead and select lasso, which will be easier to ignore the other parts. Okay. Same thing to the arms. These poly loops are horrible, but you know, sometimes this is just a sculpt. It doesn't need to be state-of-the-art. But if you're making a final project, for example, I highly recommend keeping it neat, thinking about your topology, all that good stuff. Let's get the front toes, I guess. I really want to call them fingers. The polish on these ends up a little bit better than the ones on the toes, back toes. Make sure that you don't accidentally do this, where you're selecting other parts of the body. So you can tell I did it with the blue toe. I selected over here. That's fine. I guess I can just make one for the head area. All right, we are ready to pose it up a little bit so that it's not as a weird squat frog. It's a little bit less squatty. I need to choose what pose to put it in though. I think I'm gonna make it so that it's like sitting on something. There's a lot of things you need to worry about with 3D printing. Look at that baby frog. Frog. My goodness, I keep. What's going on? So I'm going to go to the lowest subdivision possible to start posing this. I'm going to soften the mask a little bit, and just take it easy, a little bit at a time. For this particular piece, it's okay if I mess stuff up on the joints, because honestly, like, it's barely sculpted anyway at this point, so we might as well just mess it up and then fix it. And this is where the poly groups come in extremely handy. You see how much those touch right there? The poly groups are gonna let us basically edit each part of that without editing both at the same time. I'm being very harsh with this. Yesterday I went to bed at 4 a.m. knowing full well I had to stream. You might say I hate myself. Now let's get the arms a little bit. Actually, not that. Try these out. Hey Savion, how are you? Welcome to the stream. And push this back here. Okay. Sometimes I'll hit the edge instead, and I'll just hide a what do you call it? The edge strip, and I never want to do that, like almost ever. Remember that we said that the forearms need to be pointing in a little bit earlier? I think they are. Now the hands need to point in a little more. Oh god. There was like a mistake in the basket. Oops. We'll worry about like where he's standing later. But like we need to make it into like maybe a cylinder or something. Let's go ahead and do that now, actually. So much about waiting for later. I'm gonna go ahead and paint in brown or something, just really basic. Color fill objects. It's really turned out great. Oh, thank you. You just need to make some edits so that the back feet are more like holding on to the cylinder. Okay. Now let's just kind of make the fingers attach a little bit better. Let me see. Just these. The cylinder, by the way, is totally like a little bit off. Pankaj, thank you so much. I'm glad you like the frog. Hypnotoad. Oh my god, that is a great way to put it. The Hypnotoad. Hey, Savion. But yeah. This has been a fun little sculpt. I was looking for something like fun to do, like a little something fresh, you know? Been working on the same projects for a long time. Alright, so the frog is posed. I mean, it's symmetrically posed, but we'll get to that part later. Not today, though, because I only have half an hour left. Speaking of which, I only have half an hour left, so if you guys want to learn anything specific, ask me questions and stuff like that, please make sure to ask soon, because only half an hour left. We're gonna have to fix some of that knee weirdness later. Go ahead and save this. I'm gonna be right back, guys. I need to take a 2-minute break or something. All right, I will be right back. I never know how to make myself go away, honestly. No, Sparkles is not around today. Well, I mean, he is. He's just in the living room. Hidden away. All right, now let's just do some more like kind of like anatomy sculpting before stream is over. All good things must come to an end, but not yet. Always going up and down subdivisions based on our needs in the moment. If I need to make big changes, I go down subdivision. If I need to change something like in the details, go up subdivision. There's some like lumpiness in this area, so I'm trying to smooth it over. This isn't the right species of frog, but it's like close enough. I don't think it's the right species anyway. Oh, by the way, there's a thing in ZBrush where you can take the polypaint off of everything at the same time and go to renders fade opacity, and it makes everything white, so depending you can choose the color to fade to. So it's kind of really helpful, like if you're sculpting and you already have polypaint, sometimes you can't really see what you're doing in that moment, so you can just go in and fix it. I can hear Sparkles sneezing in the living room. I like to use the clay buildup with the square alpha, but whenever you do that and you go for a realistic look, make sure you don't leave too many brush strokes on there. Of course, I think the brush stroke look is very pretty. It's just if you're realistic, there are no brush strokes in nature. Again, and contour the nostril a little bit. Oh, that's cool. Are there no risks of polypainting on the model with fade opacity? I believe I've never tried polypainting on the model with fade opacity set to anything other than 0. I don't think that would make a lot of sense to me to even try. But no, there are no risks to it. As far as I know. And give him some triceps here. With the move brush using the alt trick. Just pulling perpendicularly as necessary. Try and get that little bump right here. I wish I had higher quality pictures. I should have done a reverse Google search. When in doubt, reverse Google search it out, I guess. Picking up these, the wrists. Hailey Motion Design, manda muito bem, obrigada. What about your next session? And I love your session. Pankaj, thank you so much. My next session will probably be in 2 weeks on Saturday, probably, and it'll be in Portuguese. But I have my own Twitch channel, Anna Caroline Arts. The name is right there in the overlay, and I can also post links where I stream every single Sunday in English in ZBrush every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So I'm gonna go ahead and post that. I'm gonna mask this area. Oh, that's one thing about fade opacity is that it kind of hides your masks too. I want to bring this in here, make it less, it's a little bit less thick. And then inflate these little like bits a little bit. These get a little chunkier. And this boy needs some thighs. I'm gonna go ahead and mask these areas. We'll just know it's masked. And pull it out because I think the knees are supposed to be a lot thicker, less pointy, and a little bit longer. Like the legs themselves need to be a little bit longer. What is your guys' favorite animal? No, what's your favorite reptile? Animal is too broad. My favorite reptiles are the saltwater crocodile. I found this like python snake called urban camo. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys because it's very unusual. Urban camo ball python. This right here. This is my favorite snake. Literally, it's so adorable. First of all, adorable. Second of all, it looks like it's made of like concrete, doesn't it? It's like legit urban. Like concrete on roads and stuff, or a concrete table, or maybe like marble. They are gorgeous. I love them so much. Anyway, yes, snakes. Snake trigger warning. So those are my favorite reptiles. Mata turtle being top 10 top reptiles. I don't have any favorite amphibians. I think amphibians have been very neglected by me because I never had any favorite ones. Like, it's just frogs, you know. Although there is this African bullfrog. No. There's this frog in Africa, okay, that is like bodybuilder frog. Actually, that's my favorite. Let's see. But I'm not talking about the like the bullfrog that is super pudgy. I'm talking more about like there's like type of frog that is just enormous. Goliath frog. I'm gonna show you guys. Ignore it eating stuff. Like, look at that. That's a frog. It's a hell of a frog. Anyway, yes, that's one of my favorite amphibians now. You love sugar gliders? Malak lizard, never heard of that one. Komodo dragons are very like prehistoric animals that just happen to make it to me. So stream agora aqui é sábado, por enquanto toda a minha stream no Pixologic é sábado, toda stream pessoal no meu próprio canal, Ana Carolina Arte, é domingo. You make me want to jump out of bed and sculpt. Do it, princess. Crocodiles are my favorite animal. The more I like extinct species, the huge croco named Sarcosuchus. Sarcosuchus? I'm not good at that. It's better for you sculpting from a single mesh than blocking different meshes, or depends. I do it different every time because I like to keep it fresh. Today I made this frog from one sphere. The back legs were ZSpheres. So one sphere for the body, and then ZSpheres for the legs, and then all the fingers were made from spheres too. Well, one sphere, copy and pasted a bunch of times. Adding a little bit of anatomy to the arm here, just based on what I'm seeing. I used the big damage standard to block in this line. That helped the rest kind of fall into place. Pull that booty in. Here come a lizard. I like their color, red and green. Oh, interesting. Sarcosuchus was 40 feet long crocodile and it hunted dinosaurs. Nice. I like prehistoric creatures very much. I think they are a great source of inspiration. A little tummy here. The pigeon is right here. Same standard cut. pinch for the mouth again. We're starting to refine stuff a little bit. Oh, one cool thing to try if you're making like something that's like a gap, like mouth that's closed, or a big wrinkle, or this actually works really well for like the butt crack, I must say. A lot of people have trouble with that. So it's to select part of your mesh that you're working on and click on display properties double. So now you can see it from the inside, but you can't just see it from the inside. You can sculpt on it from the inside and do things to it that you wouldn't be able to normally. So for example, if you want to like deepen, improve the pinch of this thing, you can totally go from the inside and just pinch it from the inside and get like a nice cleaner pinch that's deeper instead of the line getting pulled outwards. It stays where it's supposed to be. And like, for example, you can even like try to, for example, this is not going to work in this case because it's not deep enough, but you could like pull it from the inside and like give it depth from the inside. Give them after. If you're sculpting from the inside, do you have to invert your add and sub? Let's see. No. Well, I mean, it depends. Like, it works the same way as if we were from the outside. So clay buildup is added by default, so it's adding, but towards you. No, I just need a little skin texture. Trying to see what the heck the skin texture on these are. Seems like it's all different depending on species, and the right species, it's blurry, so I can't see. Well, we can go ahead and try to add a little skin texture, if you guys are down. So I'm going to, first thing, I'm going to create a new layer. I always like to do details in layers, because then it's easier to take them off, adjust their intensity, and things like that. I would love to see Sculpt Dinosaur sometimes. Please consider it in the future. I actually considered it for today, in fact. Like, I was between this and a dinosaur, and I chose this. And it's pretty cute, so it was worth it. Okay, so where were we? Skin textures. I have no idea what to choose. I'm gonna try to clay standard brush with spray of some sort of blurry alpha. Let's try that first and see how we feel. Make it very low intensity. So one thing we need is to make higher subdivision. Layer. Divided it 2 times extra. Let's add a layer again. I'm not going super hard on this, I'm kind of just tapping along. Trying not to double up in a single area too much. So this is going to be like the base layer of skin texture. It's looking okay so far. Like, I don't despise it. It's definitely strong in some areas, but that's okay. We're going to use morph targets to fix that. But you guys are excited for that. Morph target, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and press solo so there's nothing in the way. Essa textura de caixa de limão fica bacana, essa pinta é muito bonitinho, belo trabalho. Obrigada, Cláudia. YouTube drama. I'm a newly 3D animation graduate. It's nearly impossible to find a job now in the situation. What do I do? So yes, coronavirus is making it more difficult to find jobs. Sometimes I was reading, like, even the jobs that are getting posted by companies are sometimes getting like higher freezes at the last minute and stuff like that. So it is a hard time. So what you need to do is not despair, but understand that these are special circumstances, and that might mean that it's going to take longer to get a job in your field. It doesn't mean it's always going to take longer, but it means it could in this case. So the main thing for me that it'd be cool for you to understand is that taking a little extra time to find your first job out of college does not reflect on you. Like, it doesn't mean you're a bad artist. Doesn't mean you're bad at everything. Doesn't mean you should give up on your career. No, it's a very common thing. Almost like not everybody gets a job right out of college. So that's the first thing. So maybe it's okay to like take a job at doing something else for a while if things really come to that. Take a job doing something else for a while and keep applying, keep improving your skills, and don't lose hope the whole time. I don't know, like, there's no really way to know, you know, like, right now it's a difficult time, it's an unusual time, so we're just gonna all have to do our best, kind of thing. So I have here these textures that I made of the first layer. I'm going to go ahead and hide the first layer, and I'm going to go to morph target, and I'm gonna store morph target. Now this nice smooth frog is stored as a morph target. So I can actually go back here in the layers, show the layer, and create a new layer of smoothness, I guess, and just use the morph target brush to erase some of the bumps. With morph target brush, and then I'm just gonna go in here, and it's just gonna revert back in some areas. Some areas I don't want to be too strong. This is not smoothing, this is reverting back. It's different. Like, one thing that I don't like when I see in work is that you have textures going on, and it's like just one single spraying of the same texture over and over again. I personally do not like that. Alright, so I made the belly softer and like the snout area softer. One other thing that I wanted to do was try another layer with a noisemaker, where we're just going to add overall imperfection and noise to the whole body. And we're going to see what that does. I've seen people use this under skin pores and stuff. They'll just add a noise layer so that the skin itself is irregular and not flat with pores. What is better for me as a beginner sculpting of sculpting or modeling? It depends on what job you want. Yeah, it depends on what jobs you want. Companies are starting to resume production in games and movie industries little by little. Things will get normal soon. Let's hope. I think so. I think things will get normal soon. Did I make 2 layers? Okay. I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but I definitely want to try it. And it's almost time for me to stop my stream. Let me look at the schedule to see if I can keep going. Yusef, if you want my advice, you can go ahead and ask, and if I have time, I'll get through it. We're about to close up here. Looks like there's nobody after me, so I can keep going an extra 15 minutes or so. By the way, guys, I'm posting my links again. Make sure to follow me on social media, follow me on my Twitch channel. You'll get updates about my art, tips and tricks, my schedule. I stream on my own personal channel, Anna Carolina Art, every single Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. It's also ZBrush. It's also helpful, but it's kind of more like fun. So make sure to stop by. Okay. I think I don't remember how to make noise, but I'm gonna try. I wish I could use an alpha for this, or maybe I can, I just don't know how. So I added this crazy noise, but I'm gonna go here to my layers and just turn it way down. And let's see how before and after. So that's without noise, and this is with noise. It just adds a little extra oomph to the skin of the character. So again, that was going to surface, noise, basically surface noise, and then I just changed the size of the noise to be like really big, and then it wasn't a layer, so I was able to turn down the intensity. I'm gonna add a little pink to the frog. I feel like I need that little bit of color pop. So let's go ahead and do that. I guess I need to make a new layer. Brush paint brush. Gonna go a little pink in there to make it happy. Gonna turn down my RGB intensity. Make it real subtle. Also, the spray isn't my favorite look here. It's alpha. I just gotta be really subtle, just around the nostrils a little bit. Add a little pop of color, so like just make it a little bit more varied, I think. And I think before I log off, the last thing I'll do is I will I'm going to sorry, I'm like blanking out what I'm trying to say. First, that face mask is not helping in this case. Make more extra bumps just in the back Oh, another thing you should do is probably darken the nose and mouth areas. Oh, I have color spray on, no? For some reason, I'm coloring with texture. Let's do the bumps. So I made a new layer. Again, I always do detailing with layers. Gonna go ahead and get the clay normal brush, which is what I like for bumps. Let's see what would be a good alpha for this. Probably the same alpha but bigger. Yeah. I'm gonna do direct, I think. Maybe spray is fine. Let's take symmetry off too. Whenever I start getting to places that are close to the symmetry line, it's a good idea to probably take symmetry off a little bit. A little boop right there on the nose is kind of cute, in my opinion. Okay, so now the layer is too strong, so there's too much bumps on there. And turn it down. Every once in a while, I'll turn it off and on again just to see if it actually added anything, if it made it worse, etc. Turn the reflectivity up a little bit. Make that speck curve even wetter. No, too wet. I'm gonna go ahead and also take this log thing. Let's at the very least, let's divide it up so it's smoother. More presentable. Oh my god, it looks like sausages on the ends. Nailed it. Yeah, I think that's the result of today's stream, guys. Let me turn down the material diffuse curve. I guess turn it up a little bit. What do you guys think for today? Our goal was to make a cute frog. We have a thing that is recognizable as a frog, in my opinion. Does your frog have a name? No, but if you guys want, you can give this frog a name before I go. Você usa outros softwares para fazer texturas de miniatura? É assim. Substance Painter, principalmente. You can apply alphas with surface noise under edit option. Oh, nice. Thank you. What version of ZBrush are you using? 2020.1.3. Call him a simp frog. Oh no, I don't want to be rude to the frogger. Lovely little frog. Well, guys, it was lovely having the stream with you today. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something. I'm going to post my links one last time in the streams, so that you guys can follow me on social media. Come ask me questions. I try to get to everybody that sends me messages. It's not always possible, but I promise I try. I'm opening up all the streams to make sure. And yeah, let's see here. Posting the links, still posting, still posting. This is hard, still posting. I accidentally opened my stream up too. So yeah, those links are my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and ArtStation. In case you want to give me a follow, reach out to me. Watch my streams. I stream on the Pixologic channel every other week on Saturday, in English and Portuguese. 1 time is in English, 1 time is in Portuguese. 1 time in English, 1 time in Portuguese. I also stream on my personal channel, Anna Carolina Art, every single Sunday. And it's bilingual. You can really ask questions in whatever language you want to hear. It's mostly English though. And it's kind of like a fun, laid-back ZBrush environment. Guys, thank you so much for being here again. Make sure to follow the Pixologic channel. A lot of really talented artists all stream on here, and it's just a really great place to be. So make sure to join that. Guys, thank you so much for coming. This video will be saved to YouTube on Pixologic channel. Guys, thank you so much. Bye 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 bye.